Hey, hey, hey. It's Filter Free Friday, y'all. Listen, I am so glad y'all are here. I am really struggling a little bit with how people have been talking about um, competencies or leadership skills that they think are important in organizations because I often say that I know a lot about hypocrisy, in fact, more about hypocrisy than anything else. And folks just be out here telling fibs to themselves. Case in point, I was just looking at this guy who was a teacher and he's working in a high school, I think, and his students didn't know how to read, and so he came on social media, and it was upsetting to him. I don't tend to judge people's emotions. If you have feelings, big or not, your feelings are valid. And I didn't like his approach though. And the reason I didn't like his approach was because I have a litmus test. I got this litmus test from Jim Nunley, one of my chief advisors. And he said, hold people accountable to what they said in the interview, right? Like, don't hold people accountable to what you say, hold people accountable to what they say. And when I think about that, I think about that young man and I say, present that scenario to him when he was interviewing for that job. And when you interviewing for that particular role, somebody puts a scenario in front of you and says, hey, you're going to get a class of students. Some of them are going to be behind. Some of them are going to have literacy challenges. What are you going to do? Because if you want that job, your answer is not going to be, I'm going to get sad and I'm going to go to social media and I'm going to express my big feelings on social media and tell everyone who is following me that these students cannot read. Because I was sharing with someone who was saying it ain't his responsibility to fix this problem. And it's like, well, if you are a teacher and someone is in your class and they are behind, it is your responsibility to fix the problem. It might not be you might not be accountable for this issue being a thing, but you certainly are responsible for fixing it. It's like the leader who someone comes to work on their team, and then they find out that this person has a massive gap. And instead of trying to fix that gap, they start to performance manage the person out. You know, I think that your leadership job is development. And when we start talking about just the foundational requirements for jobs, people want to say things like ethics and integrity and honesty and communication and all of this nonsense. And I'm not saying that it's not important. It's like think about a car that doesn't have wheels. Or if you were gonna go get a new car, let's talk about it this way. You're gonna go get a new car. You not gonna be like, does the car have wheels? The car's supposed to have wheels. That's like you looking to see if it's got a sunroof, if it's got heated seats, these kinds of things. You're not going to look for a new car and wondering if the car's got if there's wheels or if there's tires. You look like to see if the engine's got the power you need. You are checking to see if it's got the safety features you want. Is it the color you want? Does it have the leather that you need? We say stuff like you need to be able to communicate and you got to have ethics and you got to have integrity. That's such a low bar. And to me, it's wasting valuable time because quite frankly, if a leader is smart and brilliant in strategy, and let's say they do everything they're supposed to do, but they steal from the company, are you going to give them a needs improvement on their performance review? Or are you going to give them a professional development plan for them to get better? No, you probably going to fire them because it's a compliance issue. And I am just sick and tired of people putting on their value mission statements, um, things like integrity and trust. Because I bet you if we were trying to put together something for the leadership competencies for, let's say, the presidency of the United States, or let's say for a Senate position, or let's say to sit on the president's cabinet, somebody gonna try to put ethics and integrity on there. And it's like, bullshit, man. Bullshit. That ain't even true. And it's like, why are we lying to ourselves? I Price of entry competencies are price of entry competencies. Now, let's say you work at a place where that truly is a differentiator in terms of how we get down, then maybe, yeah. But it's like the number of times that people will, or that I've heard about organizations like saying that they're having a sale and then they take the price up just to mark it down. That's not integrity. I ain't telling you whether or not you should do it. I'm telling you that's not integrity at all. Like, not in any way. Or let's say you know for sure that whatever's printed in the fine print that people won't look at it. And so you put these egregious bits of information in there that keep you legally taken care of, but it's a lie because you like leaving out stuff. It's a lot of omission. Don't put ethics and integrity in your mission statement on your values, or try to tell me that that's a performance differentiator or it's a price of entry. And that takes me to my next point about what is starting to happen when why am I talking about this? I'm talking about this not because I'm judging folks. I'm talking about this because if you lie to yourself, empathy can't sit on a bed of hypocrisy. So if you think something is true for somebody else but you don't think it's true for you, there's gonna be real hard to be empathetic. And so I think about what's happening with Ryan Clark right now, where he got fired from ESPN. He done had a nice little run with them, and now he like, I didn't think I was gonna lose my job. I spoke out. That's why they got rid of me. You've been speaking out the whole time, and they hadn't gotten rid of you. Um, Go in love or stay in peace. You decided to go. Let's go in love. And while you gone, build your thing, man. Build your thing. Do your thing. This happened with Issa Rad. What was her name? Issa. And what was the name of that show? I don't even remember. I watched it all the time. What was the name of that show with Issa Rae? Because it is not coming to me right now. But when Amanda Seals, I don't know if she didn't like what was happening or if she got fired. I don't know what happened. But when she left, she had a whole bunch of stuff to say about Issa and then was upset when Issa kept it moving when they had new opportunities coming. If you were going to be a person, thank you, Insecure. If you were going to be a person who is going to be out here talking bad about your former employer, do that. Go and do that. But every every action calls for a reaction. Every decision has a consequence. And so you can't be mad when you make a decision and then it has a negative consequence. Sometimes you make a decision that has a positive consequence, but very rarely is it neutral. When I make decisions, I have to be fully aware that it could go well and it could not go well. And you got to be willing to deal with it, whatever it is, right? That's what you got to be able to do. And so I think, thank y'all for telling me that it was Insecure, because I can't believe I watched that whole series and couldn't remember the name. But I think this is just starting to run rampant where we are having a set of requirements for ourselves that are different from the requirements that we have for other people. And we just, listen to me, we just cannot do that. I think about when Americans, U.S. citizens, go travel. We fully expect, because most of us only speak English. Don't be telling me about the very low percentage of Americans who speak more than one language. We go other places, we expect to find some English. We expect to find English subtitles. We expect to see English on the signage. We expect people to speak English to us. All the things. Somebody here and they don't happen to speak English, they're like, what? You know, talking louder. Listen, we have started saying treat people how they want to be treated. We ain't ready for the platinum rule because we can't even get the golden rule down. Listen, treat people how you want to be treated. Do the golden rule first, and then I'll be all on board with us trying to get to the platinum rule eventually. But we can't even treat people how we want to be treated. And I'm thinking about this young man. Listen, you had to know wherever school you were going to, if there's a major literacy problem, you had to know that there were going to be um, challenges, kids who need more support. And the easiest thing for us to do is to point our fingers outward and go, these parents, these whatever. And I'm like, if your job is an educator, educate. We, of all people, know what it's like to be in a one room schoolhouse with people of all different levels of understanding. And as an educator, you got to get them up to speed. Ain't nobody sitting back going, oh, well, their mama didn't get them ready. Once they land at your door, Once they land at your door, the job is to close the gap. And for all of you who are saying, how am I supposed to be a high school teacher and get somebody up to speed on reading? Adult literacy programs are a thing. They are very effective. And so if adults can learn how to read at 40, 50, 60, 80 years old, then certainly we can help a child who is in high school, middle school, elementary school learn how to read. That's our job. That's your job. And if ever you were sitting around wondering if you making the right decision or not, put the scenario in your own face, sitting across the table from a hiring manager for a job you want, and ask yourself, would I, in the interview, say what I'm doing right now? Because you can't convince me that man would have been in an interview and they said, hey, listen, let's imagine you get a class and some of the children have literacy problems. How are you going to handle that? He gonna tell me about all the support services that he gonna lean into, and how he's gonna give them rigor to get them up to speed. In the meantime, he gonna say everything, but I'd get on social media crying. And I don't intend to be insensitive, but yeah, this has been a week of slight frustration for me around people only caring about a thing when it shows up at their doorstep. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. I got to. I was at an event, and many of the people were very concerned about what has happened with payer systems, what's happening with grocery prices, what's happening with gas prices. People out here struggling. You know, the average American U.S. citizen cannot take care of a $400 bill if they need to. I want to make sure don't nobody think that I'm judging that, because some of the best meals I done ever had came from or were bought with food stamps. I know exactly what government cheese is, and both of my parents worked. So this is not a judgment. This is not a judgment at all, not in any way, shape, or form. That's not what it is. What it is saying we have always taken care of each other and our fellow citizens. And it is frustrating to know that people vote in a certain way that is not taking care of each other. And then when we all end up paying more, then folks are like, oh, what happened? Listen, if you didn't get a chance to watch that comedy show that I did, send me a comment. I'll put the link, because it's up on YouTube now, in the chat so that you can watch it and tell me what you think. But I have made bad decisions. I have ignored red flags. But as a nation, we are doing the same thing. And I'm just over it. I'm just over it. I'm over people having jobs and feeling entitled like it ain't their thing to take care of it. It is hard to be inside of a system and be attacking that system. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. If you want to attack something, you need to be on the outside doing it. I'm not, listen, I'm just reporting the news. I'm not making the news. And I'm not even telling you to kowtow and bend and twist and turn, because it ain't gonna help no way. But I'm saying, if you think you gonna work for me and you just gonna talk to me any kind of way, and I gotta take it, that's not how this works. And so when people like, I should be able to, imagine it's your organization, then tell me what you should be able to what you should be able to do. You don't even like it when I ask you why you did something. So you ain't trying to have nobody interrogating you like that. Saying, if you want to be a social justice advocate, activist, you got to do so outside the system. That's just how it works. I wrote a little book called Cultivating Culture as a Garden, where I go through in very great detail what this looks like and how. And, I kind of feel sorry for folks who are arguing with this reality. Because when you argue with reality, you're going to lose 100% of the time. I just can't wait till this current leadership situation that we living in right now is over. Because, honey, this idea where you just get online and just share all your feelings and don't process that stuff in therapy or something, I'm over it. This idea that you just do whatever you want, say whatever you want, however you want, and you ain't thinking at all about who gonna be hurt on the other end, over it. And I hope, and y'all keep me honest on this, I really hope that if right now I sound like I'm not giving thought to how I'm saying what I'm saying right now, tag me, man. Because I need tagging. Because this, for me, is not about judging us. It is about Understanding that if people are just going to start parroting these ideas that just don't work, it ain't my responsibility. If something done landed in your lap and is currently your job, it is your responsibility. Well, somebody else didn't do what they were supposed to do. So what? We can't go back in history and change it. This is where we are right now. The first step to any kind of change is awareness and acceptance. Look at this thing and what is we doing right now? What we doing? What we doing? What are we doing? I can't wait for this to be over. I'm trying to stay in the present. I'm not in the present. I am great with forgiveness. I ain't got no forgiveness issues, but I certainly need some time for to heal from this foolishness. Because if you could only imagine what it's like to be a person who has been working and helping leaders be better at their jobs, and to have people who are just so hypocritical, talking about, well, you got to be honest, and just lie every chance they get. Lie every chance they get. Because I would want to know, was that picking up your phone and going live, was that about you? Was that about them kids? Did that help one more kid be able to read better? I think the answer is no. I think the answer is no. I need a good 20% of us, not a whole bunch. I need a good 20% of us. I think Malcolm Gladwell said the tipping point is 26%. I need a good 20% of us to look at what our job is, whatever, regardless of you inside our organization or not, and identify what your little piece of this pie is going to be. Because the way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. But while y'all running your mouth, honey, we can't bite nothing. It's Filter Free Friday, y'all. We got work to do.